All right. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo. Despite some really a decent second half by Arkansas, they still managed to lose. They were, make no mistake about it, Georgia fans. I mean, they're feeling it, man. They're what is that, 10 straight for Georgia? You know, I mean, I don't know if I'm prepared to call them I think I said earlier they're a tournament team. I don't know. I mean, after watching them tonight, they kind of floundered a little bit. They did have up to a 14-point lead, but they floundered, and they allowed this piss-poor Razorback team to knock the lead down as little as 3 points in the second half. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I realize Razorback basketball looks like a complete shit show right now, because it is. Football it went the way that it did. I've got a job to do, and I'm going to do it. So that was painful. Now, I will say second half provided some entertainment. Just as a basketball fan, we're gonna talk about it again. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider joining Patreon. We're at 97 supporters. I think all I did was share the link in the last show. I don't even know that. Did I bring up Patreon? I don't think I did. By the way, Patreon supporters, there's some videos up you need to go watch concerning the Patreon, Tuss Talk with Ty Patreon giveaways. So if you haven't yet, go watch those. We may be doing a December giveaway this month. So everyone who's a Patreon supporter for December, I'm thinking about putting that together. Everyone who paid as a member, doing a stream. Don't know which card yet, but thinking about doing that. Shout out to the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. It's that time of year. It is freaking cold outside. You're going to want to make sure your garage door is shutting correctly. You don't want to let any of that cold air into your garage, so make sure you give those guys a call. They'll help you out. They offer same-day services. Free quotes, by the way, or free estimates. So, yeah, Little Rock, or the Central Arkansas, I should say, and in Northwest Arkansas. Give them a call, 501-244-3667. Again, that is Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. And, of course, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria on Emma Street in Springdale. It's a staple. Their pizzas are fantastic. Their IPAs on tap. They got all sorts of stuff. They got everything you want. Great environment. It's a great environment to watch a shitty basketball game. That's not their fault. That's Arkansas's fault. But it's a great place to do it. It's the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria on Emma Street in Springdale. All right. Come on, Hogs. Taking too many threes. I don't know what was up with that battle 3-point. What was it, inside about the 2.5 minute, 3 minute mark? He just jacks up a three. It's deep. It's not his shot. I don't know that he's made one from that far out all year. Maybe one or two. I don't know. A little bit of eyeball from him. But how about, there were two guys that stood out in this game. If we want to get positive, I know we don't want to just be negative. I get it. It's just miserable. But Graham wasn't exactly terrible. Defensively, yes. Yeah, defensively, he was cheeks, bro. I get it. I agree. His defense was sus. I'm telling you, guys, I've been saying it for weeks. Hell, I remember saying it last year. This guy just gets lost underneath the iron. I mean, that dude pivoted, set his foot, spun around. Graham just kind of like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then homeboy just gets an easy bucket. It is just too easy around the rim. It's easy to drive the lane. The lanes are never clogged. There's no one there for support. It's just easy to get buckets on these guys, just about anywhere. But Graham offensively did provide a little bit of a spark. It wasn't for long. He did get benched, I think, mostly because of his defense. He ended up with 9 points, shooting 4 of 8. My God, Arkansas outside shooting was atrocious. 3 of 21. Bro. 3 of 21. And Brazil airballed. Again, I think that's how many airballs has he had, whether it's a three-pointer or whatever. It feels like that dude's airballing. It's like 50-50. He's either going to make it or it's going to be an airball. He did go 1 for 4 tonight outside. Shot selection, once again, just odd. Now, the other guy, I think you know where I'm going to go with this, Tramon Mark, in the second half. Oh, my goodness. What do you have, like 16, 18 points in the second half? Dude went off, 24 points. He had 3 blocks, if I'm reading ESPN correctly. I'm trying to pull up the stat sheet here, the official stat sheet. And, yeah, they have him at 3 blocks, 3 steals, 24 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. He was tied for the lead in assist. I mean, he was sick and tired of losing. He played like, I don't know, like Georgia stole his girlfriend or something. I don't know. He just plays on beating his chest on defense. I mean, he was like the only dude in the second half that gave a shit. I know that's not true, but it looked that way. Where's this team's spark? Where is it? Where's the level? I mean, I get it. They're trailing, but damn, dude, like, again, we talk about, the want to. Loose balls. I thought they were a little better at times tonight, but especially the last 2 games, there's no energy or little energy. I mean, they let Georgia, who's not a great scoring team. They're not. They're a very vanilla. I get it. They're not bad. They can be efficient outside. If they had any kind of real offense, if they were getting about 80 a night or 82, 83 a night in SEC play, they're going to be really good. I don't know if they're tournament or not. They did not. I don't think they looked that great. The second half, they definitely. I mean, they were getting schooled. Arkansas looked a lot better in the second half, but Georgia just able to respond to everything Arkansas did, and that just speaks to how poorly this Arkansas defense is. The wide open looks, the wide open lanes, no recovery, defenders leaving their feet. Just it's so frustrating. I know a lot of you are maybe not all of you, but a lot of you are diehard basketball fans. There's no way you watch this and you're like, yeah, no, that's, just shots didn't fall. That's all. Thought the shots just didn't fall. Their defense is infuriating. And that's what's so insane to me, because this is Eric Musselman. This guy has a reputation where defense comes first. The offense, whoever's hot, go do your thing. Defensively, you're supposed to be sound defensively. He's had a reputation for having some of the best perimeter defenses we've seen. Every other shot's wide open. Guys are they're coming off ball screens. It's so easy to set up your own shot because nobody switches. Backdoor cutters just right there. I think Georgia had, it looked like 2 or 3 that were just almost completely uncontested. They're just guys. They're not a good basketball. I mean, they're bad. I'm willing to say they're a bad basketball team. Like, we're joking about them not even making the NCAA tournament. Again, like I said earlier, I don't know where there's 5 SEC victories for this team tonight. Oh man. And they fought. They did fight. The title of this show is They Fought, and they did. They fought in the second half. It was mostly Tramon Mark. It was Tramon Mark who provided an incredible spark in the second half. Fantastic play, beating his chest on defense. He was sick and tired of the shit that he was seeing. And then you kind of saw them, the rest of the guys were like, yeah, all right, yeah. And there was a little bit of they went on a decent little run there. They're able to bring that lead down. Georgia at one point, I think their largest lead, it was, 14, maybe 13. Graham did a good job, I thought, in the first half of at least keeping them in it for a little bit. He then, was just sus. But, I mean, we had Mark on 2 separate possessions drive the lane, draw a foul, and I think it was that next possession where he got the steal, ran down the floor, and had an assist for 2 points. I mean, in like a matter of seconds, he was responsible for 4 points and an assist. That's the kind of play you want to see. And it wasn't just those 2 possessions. It was the majority of that second half. This dude put this team on his shoulders. I so badly wanted to wear this gold chain on his behalf. I can't. The Razorbacks didn't win tonight, but Tramon Mark played his ass off, and he deserves so much credit. Incredible. You guys are tagging me a lot. Did I disconnect? Okay, no, someone called me on Discord. Okay, I've got like 6 notifications in Discord. You're correct. I don't know what you're talking about. Graham was ass at free throw. Oh, no, I'm not saying – listen, I get it. It wasn't just him, by the way. We're going to go over these numbers here in just a second. He wasn't the only one, but he was certainly a big part of the problem at the free throw line. He was bad at the free throw line, but I'm saying he got shots. He got buckets. He got 9 points. Only one of those came from the free throw line, but and that's not exactly a great thing to brag about. I'm saying, though, on the floor – he had some good offensive possessions, okay? Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he played a great game there, Daddy Shark HD. I got you. I got it. I get it. I get it! Nobody on this team can play great on both ends of the floor. They don't have any two-way players. That's the thing. They don't have any two-way players. They don't have them. You're either really good on one side of the ball or decent. I don't know that anybody's really good at anything right now, but you're either decent or good on one side offensively, and you're a no-show defensively, or vice versa. It's just it's not good. I've always loved baseball the most. My family is friends with Jimmy Kramer. Blah, 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 blah. For real though, I don't see us finishing 500. Oh man, if they went 9-9, I mean. I don't know now that's good enough to. I don't know if that's good enough to get them in. I think now now they're gonna have to find a way. I think to 10. I think the number might go up to 10. I don't see 10. I don't see 9. I don't see 8. I don't see 7. I don't see 6. I don't see 5. Where are the conference wins? I mean, I shouldn't say that. I know you guys are gonna come at me for saying this. We have seen, it's almost cliche, and I'm going to say it anyways because it is true and it is relevant. We have seen not great teams at Arkansas under Musselman turn it around. The problem this year is you've dug such a deep hole. I'll say this. Maybe they could turn it around where they just have a decent, not so great year where maybe they do find a way to get to 7 or 8 conference wins, and they don't make the NCAA tournament. I know, who cares at that point? I'm just saying maybe that's their ceiling. Maybe that's what we should be looking at. Well, maybe they can just get 6 or 7 conference wins. And I know I'm not saying you ought to be happy with it. State took down Tennessee. Yep. Ole Miss beat the brakes off of Florida. Florida, I don't know. I watched them a little bit this year. Ole Miss, maybe they're the real deal. They won 103-85. Mississippi State at home. That's important. At home. Mississippi State's, they were 11-3 coming into this game. Now they're 12-3, 77-72 over Tennessee. Just tired of these slow starts, man. And I don't know, maybe the one good thing that I will take away from tonight was, number one, maybe Tramon Mark. Can we expect this moving forward? I thought Devo's defense was slightly better, But can we get something close to this out of Mark? And this is the other thing. Like, no one is consistently good. No one's consistently good. There's no consistency with this team whatsoever, all the way down to the individual player, all the way up to them as a team. There's just no consistency with them at all. Yesterday, Kentucky beat the brakes off Missouri 90-77. Or was this yesterday? Yeah. January 9th. Auburn over A&M. Yeah, that's right. Okay, Auburn over A&M, 66-55. Bama, South Carolina scored 47 points. 47 points on Alabama. Alabama with 74. LSU over Vanderbilt, 77-69. Who almost lost to Vanderbilt at home or on the road? Yeah, Alabama went to Vanderbilt and only beat them by 3, 78-75. I told you guys, anytime you got to go there, anything can happen. I mean, it's just they're not good. Even when they're horrible, it's like you don't know what to expect, man, when you got to play them at their place. I'm not that thrilled for Saturday. I don't know what to make of Florida. We'll talk about that on Friday a little bit. We're going to get caught up on some recruiting stuff on Friday as well. Yeah, Minifield was MIA. Minifield was. Yeah, you're not wrong. What's up, Woo Pig Pod? I got dragged into some of that today. It's all good. I heard on the radio today that Arkansas has went as bad as 0-4 in the SEC a few times, still made the tournament. Yeah, again, those years, you have to look at where you're at in net ranking. And even though it's early, it still matters. It still matters because of the accuracy of the net ranking. So you're always up against that. Now, I will say it doesn't matter as much as it will in March or late February, mid to late February, or really late January all the way up. That's when it starts to matter the most. Let's go over some of these numbers really fast. Georgia didn't shoot great. It's not like Georgia went out there and shot 55, 60%. They shot 41%. They were 25 of 60. However, they were 9 of 27. A couple more threes I thought they would take, but they end up 33%. 77% at the free throw line, 17 to 22. They took the exact amount of shots Arkansas did and only made 2 more points, but it's that much of a difference percentage-wise. A lot of points off the bench for these guys. 40-something points off the bench. I can't do all that math off the top of my head. Thomason for them, 15. Hill with 19. I mean, they went 10 deep. We talked about that earlier. They can go. I said there might be some stragglers on the floor for a little bit who get some minutes, but they end up going 10 deep. It's so, I don't know. Really, I mean, again, talent-wise, Arkansas, I think, is better. I think they're better. How about something else I failed to mention a minute ago when we were talking about Tramon Mark. This dude went 10 for 10 at the free throw line. He went 10 for 10 at the free throw line, 7 of 14 from the floor. He was 0 of 4 outside. I thought a couple of his outside shots were a little risky. They weren't really they weren't great looks, and he took them anyways. I think about half their looks tonight were not good. Arkansas would go 24 of 60 from the floor, shooting just 40%. I mean, really, it's kind of like, wow, they shot that good? I mean, it didn't feel that way. 3 of 21 outside is just awful. I mean, there's no other way to put it. 68% at the free throw line. Remember, they shot 22 there, 15 to 22. Probably the fewest. I think this is the fewest amount of bench production they've had this year. 19 total points off the bench. Graham with 9. Someone else who's disappeared has been Battle. I don't know what's going on with Battle. I really don't. He is not the guy we thought that he was. Tramon Mark would shoot 50% overall. Again, 7 of 14, 24 points. What a game. What a game by him. It's just too bad that the rest of the guys couldn't help him out. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Verge Man 3, Davenport was jacking it up like he was JD Note. Yeah, I thought he, and he made the one. I think that was that kick out three by not Minifield, Tramon Mark. I think that was that kick out three that he made, right? Am I remembering that right? I think I am. It was a hard game to watch that first half. I really thought this thing was going to end up. I thought they were going to win by 14, 16 points. Again, Arkansas, and the way this thing started, Hogs didn't score their first bucket until the 15:46 mark in the first half. Once again, just typical Eric Musselman basketball, though, right? That's always been the case. They don't ever come out the gate scoring. Rarely do they come out red hot. And the first bucket they made was an and one by Graham. Hogs at one point in the first half went on a nice little 9-2 run to close the gap. I think at that point the score was 16-15 at the time when they went on that 9-2 run. Then Georgia countered. Georgia, not a great offensive team, countered going on a 12-0 run that ended up being a 14-2 run. This is not a good offensive team that should be doing that, but they did it. I think they're probably one of the either mid-tier or bottom-tier offensive teams in this league. Great defense. Their defense is going to help them out a lot. They're going to get a lot of points, I think, off steals and forced turnovers. But they have no business going on these 14-2 runs, these 10-0, 12-0 runs. They have no business doing that against a team that at least has the skill that Arkansas has. But the problem is they don't do what? They don't play defense. So it's not really a surprise, really. By the way, I get it. You guys don't hate Nick Saban. That had to be the most common comment in today's video from earlier. I get it. You don't like Nick, or you're glad he's gone, but you don't hate him. My apologies. Seems like an awful lot of Hog fans bitch about him on Twitter. All I'm saying, especially after a loss. Certainly seems like a lot of Hog fans hate the guy. Pinion sent me a DM. No, he didn't. To play 1v1 for $1,000. You gonna take it? Is that for real? Oh man, have Devo ref. Wow. Joshua Smother says we haven't had a good 3-point shooter since Isaiah Joe. If he scores 20 in any game this season, he's got a deal. That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm not going to be a hater. I'm not. Slow down. Nobody go clipping. Oh, here we go. Some more. Ty now hates Pinion. Nope, not true. He's just not going to be on the floor long enough to get that. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not BSing you. That's crazy. Well, I mean, listen, how old is he? 19? Like, bro, you're 19. You're in shape. You play college ball. That's the real bet. I tell you what, Woo Pig Pod, that's what I would do. Challenge him to, all right, bro, score 10 points. Score 10 points. 20 is just, I think, too high for him. I mean, I'm just being real. Chud Morris to Alabama. Yeah. Ty, in all seriousness, I miss me some J.D. Notte. They don't have that takeover guy, or they haven't. Maybe that's Tramon Mark moving forward. I thought it was going to be Battle. It's not. Battle has vanished. I don't know what's going on. We talked about it earlier in the year about how this is the guy. He's going to be the guy who you want to have the ball in his hands in the final 2 or 3 minutes. He's going to get to the free throw line. He's going to draw fouls. He's going to make those bullshit quick runs through the lane, up to the iron layups. He's gonna make those shots. He's gonna do the whole dribble drive. He's gonna do his thing, man. We've got JD Notte 2.0 over here. And it hadn't happened. He's disappeared. He's vanished, especially once Minifield came along. Now, someone, Woo Pig Pod brought up Minifield. Yeah, Minifield's, I don't know what did he get minutes-wise tonight? They're not showing it. Oh, here we go. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Was it a matchup issue? That can't be right. Do I need to refresh this? 15 minutes. I felt like he got at least 20, 25. Tramon Mark got 36, the most of anyone. I mean, that's a given. Blocker did not see the court. Lawson got 2 minutes. Battle got 24. Graham got 12. Devo with 32. Brazil 33. Mitchell with 22. Mitchell. Sometimes I wonder if that dude's if his head is in the clouds. I don't know, man. Again, Tramon Mark is your leading scorer, leading rebounder. He ties for the lead in blocks. He ties for the lead in assists. He's in the lead for steals. This dude had an incredible night. 31 in the plus. In the plus minus, he's at 31. Good Lord. I so badly wanted to wear this chain for him. I really did. All right. Ziegler for UT. Oh, yeah. Announcer said Minifield wasn't handling the physicality. Well, I was in and out listening to them and listening to Chuck, so I didn't hear that. That might have been the case. I don't know. He certainly, when he played, he did. I mean, he turned the ball over. Didn't he end up with – he had one – I think he had a key turn. I think he only ended up with one or two. But Mitchell tonight, 4 turnovers. Arkansas had 15 turnovers. How many games are you do you win when you turn the ball over 15 times and you're -4 in the assist to turnover ratio? They had only just the 11 assists. They had 7 blocks, which is a little surprising considering Georgia could play with a little bit of length. I mean, I don't know. They're big. Georgia is a big, bulky team, and they are physical. But I mean, I'm not – their offense to me is still – I don't know if I'm ready to put them in the tournament. It's just too early for them. Their talent is just not great. They don't really have any elite scorers, even though Hill went off tonight. But anybody could go off on Arkansas's defense. I mean, that's not saying much. Chuck needs to retire. Ziegler for UT is 5'9", dude, balls out. Minifield didn't play the second half. Blocker played 5 seconds. They don't have Blocker. Yeah, so I guess that just wasn't enough to register a minute. I don't think I saw Blocker out there. They don't have him registered. Now, they've got Ellis down for a minute. They've got like everybody. Well, I don't know. Blocker does show up on the stat sheet though. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, he didn't play. It was pretty clear that they didn't mind some of the length that they wanted to play with on the floor. L's are piling up quickly, says Tercer. Y'all, you got to turn around. You got to turn around on Saturday and go back out east. You got to go back to Florida and play. What is it, 3 o'clock? Where are you at? 3 p.m. 3 p.m. So you get like maybe 1 full day rest. I don't know how they're going to handle the if this were a Tuesday night, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But Wednesday night, I mean, if you listen to Muss, they track their hours. Everything they do, I mean, listen to him. He'll go into detail. Had this been a Tuesday night, maybe it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But, I mean, you're going to get back home, I'm assuming sometime in the morning, early in the morning. And then you're going to have Thursday to rest, maybe Friday to – I mean, do they practice on Friday? Do they fly down Friday night? I'm assuming that's what they do. They're not going to fly down there Saturday morning. They're not going to have time to prep or practice. It's going to be nothing to film and then get down there and hopefully you can get a little bit of time to practice, shoot around. I'm going to tell you, we'll talk about Florida on Friday. It'll be an interesting matchup. We're going to get caught up on recruiting on Friday as well. Gators by 15. Fish, I don't know that you ever comment when it's anything positive. I don't know that anything you say is ever positive. Here's what I'll say about the turnover, or about the about Arkansas and the roster turnover. Now we still got to get through this season. God only knows how this thing plays out. I mean, let's say my scenario is how it plays out. Arkansas ends up with maybe 5 or 6 conference wins, whatever. Obviously, you're sitting out the offseason. And also, it depends on who shows up the rest of the year, and then you got to think about eligibility. But Brazil's probably gone. I mean, I know everyone's going to hate on him. He's not getting drafted, so on and so forth. But I think his potential is going to be enough to carry him. And I don't know that he wants to come back for another year and risk injury. That's kind of my thinking. I mean, yeah, I get it. His numbers haven't exactly. He's not lighting the world on fire. I hear you guys. I can already hear some people type. He's not draft worthy. I can already hear it. Just hear me out. I think his potential alone will carry him in his mind that he feels like he could be a potential first round. Who knows? He could have an incredible January or incredible February, incredible what little ball they get to play in March. He could be insane. And then, of course, potential. We know how the NBA works. You know, I've seen guys who have not great college numbers they'd still get drafted high. Maybe that's Brazil. Maybe not lottery necessarily. But anyways, let's say Brazil's gone. Whoever has eligibility remaining, Devo technically has another year because he's a 2020 kid, right? I hope they can get some guys to return. Whoever's left, that's going to matter, right? I mean, like I could tell you right now, I'm not so sure Woo Pig Pod would want Pinion back. I think that's very clear. We know where their heads are at on Pinion. But I want some of these. I think that the roster turnover, you roll the dice and you're doing it with 7 or 8 new guys every year. And I don't know that. I mean, at least last year, those guys had a little bit of chemistry. Now, unfortunately, a couple of them wouldn't play, Brazil and Nick Smith, but they had a little bit of chemistry. They went through the recruiting process together. Some of them were McDonald's All-Americans together, right? There was something there. And then they ended up, some of those guys did end up meshing pretty well with the older veterans, especially in March. But I'm just not digging the let's go out and let's completely reset the roster every year. There has to be a core element of your roster that has to be guys that are older and that have played together for more than just half of an off season. Not half of an off season, but an off season. You have to have guys coming back. I don't know who that is yet. We don't know, and of course we got to let the year play out. They may all need to be replaced, right? That could be the conversation we're having, assuming they miss the tournament or even if they do make the tournament. I'm just not digging the complete roster reset every year. Someone said it best. I don't remember if it was Discord or Twitter, but someone said this was bound to happen. When you have this kind of roster reset where you're relying on either freshmen, true freshmen, or transfers, and they're all gone. I mean, you look at who's left from last year, right? I mean, outside of Devo, I'm talking about key contributors and Mitchell. I think they rolled the dice. Muss rolled the dice. You know, Fish said in our last live that this is all on Musselman. I think that's fair. I think it's fair, or at least it's fair to say that the evaluation, maybe he put too much into the fact that he needed older guards. Maybe he put too much into the fact that he needed more scorers, and maybe he did slightly overlook their defensive play and their effort. You know, there's some things you can't see on film, right? You can't see chemistry on film, not when you're plucking that guy. Now, if you're taking 3 guys from that same school, that might be a different scenario, but you don't. You take one here, you take one there, you take one there. You have no idea if their chemistry is going to work together. But to be fair, that's kind of been college basketball for a while now, and other teams have made it work. I just think it was a dice roll, and Muss has made it work before. Maybe not necessarily an SEC play when you're looking at last year. The reset, the roster reset, it's not working out. You rolled the dice on so many of these transfers. I mean, you do with every player, but too many dice on the board, and you don't see chemistry on film. I don't think they have it. You know, Musselman's not known for having elite offenses on the floor. All right, him and Nate Oates are like yin and yang, black and white. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like two different. Muss is a defensive guy. I don't know. I think it is on Muss. I think it's on. You know, I know his staff also takes part in the in that part of the evaluation part of watching film and plucking these guys up from other schools. It just didn't work. I don't think it's worked. I don't want to hang my hat up yet, right? I don't want to hang up the mic. I mean, of course, I'm never going to. Even after shitty losses, I'm going to be here. Like I said before, I've got a job to do. I'm not saying give up, quit. I'm not saying that. What I saw out of Tramon Mark tonight was fantastic. We've seen Minifield have an immediate impact on the floor. We've seen Brazil. I mean, you go back to that Duke game. Battle, like we have seen these dudes ball out. If they ever at some point this year figure out how to do that night in and night out, they're going to be damn hard to beat on the road or at home or in March when they're playing, you know, when they're in the SEC tournament or whatever. Yeah, I'm not digging the whole. I get bringing in maybe 3 or 4 guys. I mean, obviously, you can't just he's not going to fill up his roster full of freshmen. And I think we said last year, and I think we all sat here and talked about this last year, well, I think he needs to go the transfer portal route. Well, I think we're wrong. I'm sure I said that because we didn't want him to bring in a whole bunch of 18-year-old kids. We want him to bring in the older transfer guys. I think what you need is continuity. You need guys that have been here for a year or two who understands what the objective is, what their job is, and understand what it takes to win, especially in the SEC. They're about to they're about to be tested big time. I mean, I don't know what to make of Florida, but I don't think I'd pick Arkansas, especially with this short turnaround. It's not the end of the world. 1 year, I think. Listen. Musselman deserves the benefit of the doubt that he can get this thing fixed. If anybody's calling for his head, I don't know. You maybe just choose another sport to follow. This was bound to catch up to him. It did. It was bound to catch up to the Razorbacks. It did. Or it looks like it has. So I don't know. Maybe I already made my point, but like I said do not assume I'm comparing Musselman to Chad Morris. But what I said during Chad Morris's second season was, hang on, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, meaning, you know, the what was going to happen on the field, the wins and losses. I think it's similar this year in SEC play for Arkansas. It's going to be a wild roller coaster ride. Chad Morris could only dream of being half the coach Musselman is. Musselman, I still think he's the guy for the job. I'm still on the Muss bus. I just think that this year it looks like so far it's just not worked out. You're setting yourself up for a really rough February. I mean, you're pitting yourselves up and you're pitting yourselves into a corner. That's where they're at. They're gonna, unless they can find a way to sneak some wins out in January. Boy, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself in the month of February. And even if you ball out, depending on how January finishes, it may not be enough still. I'm glad we saw some fight tonight. I was really concerned they're about to lose this thing by 15, 16 points to a not so great offensive Georgia team who I also think was pretty their non-con schedule sets them up to look like something they're not. I think they're bloated. I think their non-con schedule was bloated. I'm not saying they're a bad team. They're gonna win some games they're not supposed to win simply because of their defense. But I also think they're about to hit a wall, similar to Ole Miss. Although Ole Miss, look what they did today. I don't know, Ty. I've been on the record as saying by late January or early February that Muss would have us hitting on all cylinders. I guess I was wrong. Pretty surprising. This is Jeremy Gray. It doesn't boil – Talking Beer says it doesn't boil down to just adding one player. His style of play requires the entire team. Absolutely. And that's why I would like to see guys come back. I would like to see whoever those guys are, whoever has eligibility left, whoever didn't completely shit the bed this year, we still got a long ways to go. I mean, we still got to get through this season. But, again, I don't know that a complete roster reset is the way to go. You got to balance it somehow. I don't know. It could also just be that there might be some more stuff going on that we just don't know about, I don't know. Ty, it's January 10th, for God's sakes, too early to bail. Yeah, Hair of the Dog, you must have just joined. I've said that earlier. It is we've still got to let this thing play out. So sorry you missed that, apparently. We need true 3-and-D wings, more like T-Mark. Yeah, you're not wrong, Whoopig. There are enough guys in this roster that have been here for more than a year. I'm talking about key players. I'm not talking about Pinion, right? I'm not talking about the guys that didn't really contribute or having a rough year so far. This season is doomed, says Blood Diamond. I'm not prepared to say that yet, but it certainly looks like they've dug themselves into such a deep hole. Again, they're going to have to crush the rest of the month. They're going to have to get some wins they have no business getting. And, it's going to be that way from here on out, not just January. I feel like Musselman needs Minifield Davis. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Jeremy Grace is Ty? Or are you saying thank you? SEC is all about defense. Big guys can score, and now it's 3-point shooting. Archie has none of those this year. Kopesky's using the word Archie now. That's when he's upset. When he says Archie, that's when he gets up. That's when he's not real. He's upset. He says Archie instead of Arkansas. Yeah. Speaking of their bigs, Shiwa. Am I pronouncing that right? The 7-foot, 275-pound guy. I think that would be nice to have someone like that. I think it'd be nice to have someone big. He's not an elite scorer. He's not an elite rebounder, but you saw him tonight. He bullied those guys around. He boxed them out. It was physical. He fought. He's 53% on the year. He's averaging about 7 points, seven boards a game. I think that's a piece that Arkansas is missing. I don't know how many 7-foot, 275-pounders are available, and I don't know that they really fit what Muss wants to do. But I've said all along, I feel like they're, when they face these kind of guys, they're going to struggle. And they did a little bit tonight with him. He didn't go off. He only had 6 points, but he had 8 boards, 2 offensive rebounds, only 3 turnovers. He did foul out. But he had some key boards and couple easy buckets. I feel like Muss could work someone like that into his system, into what he does. I know he doesn't run. I'm not talking about just offense. On both ends of the floor. Just a big physical, you can't box me out. I'm bigger than you are. Good luck moving me. Just a typical 90s center, man. One of these 6'10", 6'11", 280-pounders. They look like they could play both sides of the ball in football. On the line of scrimmage. That's what you need. You need someone like that, a big just bruiser. Devo, I think he's got another year. I really do, because he's part of that 2020 class. I don't know. Mr. Kick says he does have one more season. Nisha, what's up, Nisha? How you doing? Ty, I remember hearing the team is staying out. They are staying out east? Are they? Nisha, thank you so much. I wasn't sure. That would make sense. I didn't know if, within NCAA rules that they could or not. We need a Shaq or Big Nasty. Well, yeah, but so do 300 other teams in college basketball, right? Devo has KJ Jefferson vibes, man. Says Kopeski. I don't know about all that. Come on now. Everyone's inconsistent this year. Isn't it weird how similar things are unfolding for them? I say unfolding. Again, it's early. We don't want to trigger. We triggered one guy earlier in chat. It's so far. You expected so much more, right? Sounds familiar. We were just there a few months ago with football. I like Devo. I think Devo, especially when he's on, he could become a good two-way player. We saw it last year. I feel like we say that a lot too. We saw it. Past tense, we saw it. Devo has, I already read that. My bad. Man, Devo hate is real. I say you guys eat your words, says Hair of the Dog. Hair of the Dog ain't having it none. He's done. He ain't having it. I hope I do eat my words on Devo, but Devo has reached his ceiling. Well, I mean, he's not playing up to where he was at last year, Kopeski, so he's not playing at his best right now. Maybe he'll turn it around. Jeremy McCollum says, hope they could turn it around. Yeah. Hey, make sure you guys like. Please slap the like button around. Give it the old like. I said hair of the dog. Oh, hair of the hog. Bro, it is 11 o'clock at night. This is my second stream. I just watched horrible basketball. Any football portal takes. Friday we'll talk about it. Will this trickle down to the baseball team? Patrick, you bite your tongue. You bite your tongue. If you could tell me this movie really quick, I'm going to give you a quote. If you're in Discord and you can give me the movie, I'm going to give you 10,000 XP. If you're not in Discord, I don't know, I'm going to give you a high five. Hang on. Wait for it, okay? It is pretty, like, you've got to really know the movie. But this line has probably been said in multiple movies, so it's probably pretty challenging. But if you can get it, here we go. And it's at the first 5 minutes of this movie, and it is a comedy. Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Give me the movie. I want someone to give me the movie. If they show some fight in February, they might make the tourney, which is bare minimum for Arkansas. I mean, here we are, though, right? Like, we're, the expectations at Arkansas is it's like tournament is expected. That's where Muss is taking them to, right? Say it again. Commercial got me. Okay, hang on. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I could give you the follow-up line because that's tough. That's a tough one. It's a woman that says it, and it's in like the first 5 minutes, and it's a comedy. If I give you the actors, it would be a dead giveaway. Someone's going to get this because we got a bunch of comedy fans. I say a bunch. We've got a few comedy fans on our Discord. That's vague. Let me give you the follow-up line. Her name is Chastity, and she is white trash. Come on, man. Someone tell me. Wedding Crashers. Camo's got it. That's it. That's it. Camo got it. That's a great comedy, man. That's a great flick. That and Tropic Thunder. What happened to comedy? All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ads are rolling. I don't control them. It's supposed to be manually input. Ty Muss is finally being exposed. White and Beard are showing they're better coaches. Well, you motorboats. I don't know about all that. I don't know, man. Listen, Charles, you may not be wrong. I don't know. I mean, Muss. It's hard to look at what he's done in the past and just think that he's a trash coach, right? Now, we know Beard's done a really good job. I don't know about White. I don't know about all that. Beard's had a pretty high level of success, but you can't overlook Muss's success. again, I think this season boils down to what has happened to his job in the portal. Again, you can't see chemistry on film. You can't see it. You can see chemistry of that individual with that team that you're watching. But when you're plucking guys from all over the place, there's no way of knowing until you get them here, until you get them on the floor, and eventually your luck was going to run out. I say luck. I don't. Maybe it's luck. Maybe it's not. Yeah. So, all right. That's all I got. It's late. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. A long ways to go to even start thinking about tournament. I know we talked a little bit about that tonight, but it's right now it's about just winning the games that are in front of you. They got a very short turnaround. Apparently they're going to be staying. Someone said they're staying out east. They're going to stay out there. That makes sense. So shout out to Nisha Lachey. Thank you, Nisha. I hope that's right. I hope that's true. There's the Patreon link. We're at 97 supporters. I'm going to watch Muss's post game and then go to bed, probably take a shower. I'm starting to get a little warm. Stay warm. Did you guys see the temperatures for next week in Northwest Arkansas? Oh, my goodness. David Atkinson, BBR Service, says you're going to miss from time to time. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, David. Beard is clearly better, says Fish. Okay, anyways, here comes the name scroll. I'll see you guys on Friday. We'll talk about the Florida matchup, and we're going to hopefully get caught up on some transfer portal stuff. All right? Okay. You guys have a good night, including you, Fish. Have a good night.